To all my viewers out there, happy Halloween from the Hare Ranch. We decorated early this year. I really like driving this 2025 Range Rover Hybrid. Lots and lots of horsepower, very quick. That's just too big to drive with city traffic. I need something smaller, more practical. And that Range Rover is pretty expensive at just around 140 grand. I think I need something a little more practical in price too. This looks pretty good, $29,830. That's according to the Mazda website, and I'm looking at the Mazda MX-5, also known as the Mazda Miata. Been a long time since I had one. I like this metallic red paint. So I'm going to make a phone call and see if I can get one. And here's the window sticker, although it's not on the window, it's on my computer screen. They couldn't send me a paper version. This is the best I can do. This is the club version, which means it costs a bit more money. Aside from $595 for the metallic paint, they're all charging for paint nowadays, another gimmick to get your wallet. No options, $34,610. I think anyone can afford that. The fuel economy of this Mazda is 26 mpg in the city, 34 on the highway, and 29 overall. Is that true? We're going to rack up several hundred miles to find out. You the real world numbers. So don't go away. More driving ahead. So here it is, a very nice looking vehicle. The styling hasn't changed in a while. It doesn't matter because this type of styling goes on for years and years without being obsolete. Gets lots of compliments. And I don't like paying an extra $600 for paint, but this is a pretty nice color. It gets lots of compliments. Nice looking from the front and the rear. Of course, we want to get the top down, but not in the sun. It's over 110 degrees today. Let's go get in the shade. One of the first things we do when we get a vehicle is check and see what brand of tires they're issuing, because a lot of manufacturers are going cheap, putting junker brands on, but here we have a nice set of Bridgestones. I'm not complaining about that. Then we check and see if there's a spare tire, but no room for one in this one, but I do have a spare tire kit with a bunch of repair stuff. Air pumps, fixed flat, in this little yellow box, just in case. Of course, now I don't have any luggage for a long trip, but who takes a long trip in a MX-5 anyway? Not much room for luggage. And everybody drives at night, so you need to know how it performs in the dark. We went out and did a headlight test on this in night drive, but that's a separate video. We'll have a link for that at the end of this video. Here we're just doing daytime testing. Maybe some nighttime mountain driving, but the headlight test, that'll be separate. The top is manually operated. It only takes around 10 seconds to lower, 10 seconds to put back up. Because of that, I'm glad it's not powered like some compact sporty cars, which is totally ridiculous. Just adds dead weight. In a car this size, you do not need a power operated top, trust me. Manual works just fine. Very simple, and it doesn't break. Let's take a peek inside, and I'm telling you, it's very, very cramped in here. You're very, very tall or heavy, you might not fit. There's no glove box, so if you have other items to fit, it could be a problem. You do have a small storage compartment here with the lock. Behind the driver's seat, not sure what this is. Oh, empty space back there. Okay. And another hiding spot behind the passenger seat. The Miata comes standard with a 6-speed manual transmission, very, very smooth, like clutch. Great pleasure to operate. If you don't know how to use the manual, there's an excellent automatic transmission that has pedal shifters on the steering wheel, so you can also shift manually. That kind of takes the fun out of it. This engine loves to rev. Just over 7,000 RPM. Engine like that, with no turbo, likes a manual transmission. Just makes it happier, but your choice. And one thing I love about these Mazdas is very, very simple climate controls. 3 knobs, temperature, fan speed, and the direction where it goes. It doesn't get any simpler than this. Used to be a lot of cars had this set up, but now they're going to everything on the info screen and other nonsense. And Just a sign of the times, but this one is the best. It would be nice if every vehicle on the road had something like this. You don't have to take your eyes off the road to operate it. The simple touch feel. And the info screen is kind of small, but doesn't really do that much, so it's not important. Operated by this control knob behind the shifter. And we do get a manual emergency brake. Thank you very much. Electronic brakes are garbage. Yeah, it does take up a lot of room, but I don't care. I'd rather have this. Another thing I like about this soft top, it has a glass rear window, not plastic. Remember those plastic rears? What garbage they were? They never lasted more than a year, especially in the heat or extreme cold. Don't have to worry about that with this. Here's what the camera looks like, a bit on the dinky side, but better than nothing. It's a dinky car, what do you expect? Alright, part one show and tell is over. Let's do some driving. And the first thing you need to know, the turning radius on this is super tight. Wow, you fit this in any parking space, no issue at all. And since this is a performance car, the steering is very quick, reasonably light. The ride is a bit choppy on rough pavement, but nothing serious. Very strong brakes. I'll be frank with you, and just daily to daily driving, there's really no excitement here. It's just basically a small little car with a tiny 4-cylinder in it. You can't appreciate the vehicle till you take it out on the open road, especially on tight mountain curves, and wring this baby out. And that's what we're going to do tonight. And take it out on the freeway and get some fuel economy numbers. Let's take a highway trip and see what type of mileage we can get off this. Suspension wise, it's reasonably comfortable on the expressway or highway trips. However, the downside, there's a lot of wind noise from this soft top. Don't even bother trying to listen to the radio. For short trips, like 50 miles or less, you'll be okay, but for very long trips, probably not a good car for this. If you fork up the money for the retractable hardtop, it's a lot quieter, but again, who's going to take a long trip in a vehicle this small with such limited luggage space and no spare tire? But if you can afford the retractable hardtop, by all means, it's definitely worth getting. Alright, we did 38.8 miles on the highway and got 38.8 mpg. This is a sports car meant to be taken out on tight, twisty country roads. So let's take it out on some tight, country, twisty roads. The Miata has 50-50 weight distribution, which makes cornering ability very easy to do. This is a true sports car, not a fake. Definitely hugs the road. And while this isn't the most powerful engine you can get in a sports car, it's more than adequate for this type of driving, without the need for turbo, superchargers, or other accessories. Very nice balance. And we've got excellent headlights for driving in the dark, but we covered that in a separate video that you need to watch. It's on roads like this where the 6-speed manual transmission creates a lot of entertainment. Although I must admit the automatic transmission works just as well if you're using the paddle shifters on the steering wheel. Take your pick. Excellent brakes, by the way. Well, I just saw a road construction sign saying they just laid fresh oil on this pavement. Not that I need the sign to tell me, because I can see it and feel it. So you don't want to be driving a Miata on fresh oil at these speeds. So time to turn around and go back. Looks like they got some fresh yellow paint here too. Don't want to get that on the car. After resetting the computer, 20 miles of this back road racing gave us 31 mpg. Very impressive. Let's do another highway trip. 37.6 miles, 40.9 mpg. It can be done. One minor complaint I have with the Mazda MX-5, most of them, I don't know, like 95%, if you went on the dealer, have black interiors. That's not a good color for a convertible because the cabin heats up like an oven. They do have a tan, and I think they used to have a red. But good luck finding that. Plus, this shift knob has a tendency to get very hot in the sun. And this top part, I don't know if that's real metal, can burn your hand. So you might want to get a rag to cover it up. But it's a minor gripe, no big deal. Just a thought. So what's my take on this MX-5 Miata after a week of driving? It's a very nice car, a very good value, reliable, has great resale value, sips gas. What more do you want? The only question is, how do the headlights work in the dark? Well, we have our night drive and headlight test video coming up. Just click on the link and watch it. Here it is.